Hi, good morning everyone. Today we are going to see about childhood and growing up. I am Mrs. Viva Lakshmi, Assistant Professor in Education, Vellalar College of Education, Dindal, Erode. Now let us see about the introduction. Life starts with the conception in the mother's womb. From the formation of fetus till the baby comes into the world, its weight increases by 11 lakh times. The tiny zygote grows in a baby of about 50 cm long with a weight of about 3.5 kg at the time of birth. The organs of the child grow and mature due to learning and training, at which improvement takes place in the functioning of the individual and his behavior. Then let us see about growth. The term growth is used in physical sense. It refers to increase in size, length, height and weight. Changes in the quantitative aspects, which could be objectively observed and measured, come into the domain of growth. Growth is one of the components of the developmental process. Developmental in its quantitative aspects is termed as growth. Then, characteristics of growth. It refers to increase caused by becoming larger and heavier. It is quantitative, additive, and augmental. It is objectively observable and measurable. Growth does not continue throughout the life, it stops when maturity has been observed. Then, growth may or may not bring development. A rate of growth is not uniform. It proceeds more rapidly in the early years of life but slows down in the later years of infancy. There exists wide range of individual differences among children with respect to growth. The rate of growth of different parts of the body is different. Then development. We are seeing about development. It implies overall changes in shape, form of structure, resulting in improved working or functioning. It indicates the changes in the quality or character rather than in quantitative aspects. Development is the result of growth, maturation, and learning. Then, characteristics of development. It is progressive series of changes that occurs in an orderly, predictable pattern as a result of maturation and experience. It is directional and sequential. It is continuous in all areas of mental activity. It does not stop with puberty as in case of growth. The goal of development is to enable the individual to adapt to the environment in which he lives. That is, development results in improved functioning of the individual. Then, it is a complex process of integrating many structures and functions. It is of many aspects, that is, physical, emotional, intellectual, social, and moral. Rate of development is not uniform throughout the lifespan of an individual. It is spiral and not a linear. It is influenced by maturation and learning. Then it is very much related to one's environment. Stimulating environment helps an individual to develop many skills. It is based on modeling of the parents, teachers, and other elder members. Since development is qualitative in nature, it could be assessed through keen observation in behavioral situations. It is possible even without growth. Example, even short statured people may exhibit strong physical functioning. Then comparison of growth and development. Growth is quantitative in nature. That is it indicates increase, enlargement, and augmentation. For development, it is both quantitative and qualitative, and it results in improved functioning of the individual. It could be objectively observed and measured, but in development, as development is mainly qualitative, it cannot be measured. It does not continue throughout the lifespan. It is continuous in all areas of mental activity. Growth is one aspect of development. It is complex in many sided. It occurs in different parts of the organism. It describes the changes in the organism as a whole, and it does not list the changes in parts. Then growth is not directional, it is progressive and sequential. Rate of growth is not uniform in all parts of the organism. Rate of growth is also not uniform. Then individual differences exist in growth among children. Children differ in their level of development in different aspects, that is physical, social, emotional, and intellectual. Growth is not affected very much by learning. In development, learning and experience affect development to a very great extent. Growth may or may not lead to development. Development is one aspect, promotes development in other aspects. Then, principles of growth and development. Principle of continuity, principle of individual differences, rate of growth and development is not uniform. Uniformity of pattern, development proceeds from general to specific responses. Then, then principle of integration, principle of interrelation, development is predictable. Growth and development are a joint product of both heredity and environment. Growth proceeds from head to trunk, center to extremities. Then maturation and uh, learning. M- meaning of Meaning of the word maturation. Maturation is a learning process. It is the growth which takes place within the individual. The maturational changes are the result of unfolding and ripening of inherent traits and are relatively independent of activity, practice, or experience. Maturation involves changes that are associated with normal growth. Then learning, on the other hand, is a change in behavioral pattern in an individual which is not heralded by his genetic inheritance. It is a process which takes place as a result of the stimuli from outside. The changes in the behavior in the process of learning are always produced through some activity, training, or experience. Then, relationship of among maturation, learning, and development. In the case of human activities, development occurs as a result of maturation and learning. No amount of teaching or exercise will enable a 6-month old baby to talk or walk. It is also equally true that the child does not learn the language just because he attains that stage or age unless the language is taught to him. The language which he learns is that which he hears. Then, a number of studies have been conducted to show the importance of maturation for learning and development, of which two have been described below. W. N. Hellock and Elia Kellogg reared an infant boy in an infant chimpanzee in the same human environment, treating them with the same affection and tenderness. The aim of the experiment was to see to what extent the chimpanzee could be humanized by the human environment. The boy was 2 months older than the chimpanzee. Still, the chimpanzee was able to learn to skip, to open the door, to eat with a spoon, to drink from a glass earlier than the boy. This was because of the chimpanzee, through 2 months younger, was physically more mature. However, by 15 months of age, the boy surpassed the chimpanzee in almost everything in physical strength. This experiment was terminated when the boy was 19 months old. The experiment was lead to the following inferences. The chimpanzee, through a inferior species, was superior to the human child in certain respects. The superiority will due to the earlier maturity of the chimpanzee. On the other hand, the boy, even with his relative immaturity, was able to speak, to imitate, and to solve a number of problems which the chimpanzee could not do, even though it was more mature as a chimpanzee, even though the training given to the two was the same. Thank you. Thank you for watching my channel.